Well, apparently Superman has a massive surprise cameo. We recently got some reactions to some test screenings, and I have to say, this is the kind of news I was hoping for. But this cameo, well, that's the real story. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about these test screenings, the reactions, and who I actually think this cameo might be. Well, for me, I think one of the biggest movies coming up this summer is going to be Superman. The movie made the top 10 most anticipated films list from Variety, and the trailer itself was a massive hit, and the response from fans is, well, pretty darn good. Now, there is some excitement building because next week is CinemaCon, and many of us are anticipating another Superman trailer, which hopefully will reveal some of the details. We recently heard from people who saw the film in a test screening format, and apparently most of what we got to see in the first trailer is in the first third of the movie, meaning James Gunn is still held back a lot, and I suspect there are more surprises moving forward than not. Now, the latest test screening did get some pretty interesting responses, and they were a little varied. Daniel Rickman actually chimed in and said that what he was hearing is that people absolutely love the film. And as far as scoopers go, Rickman is kind of on the top of my list. Now, My Time to Shine Hello also chimed in and said that it was decidedly mixed. Some people thought it was okay, some liked it, others didn't. So even though I am inclined to lean towards what Daniel has to say about this, we're definitely going to put that one into the mix. I actually think, like any movie, especially James Gunn's movies, it's kind of up to your taste. If James Gunn movies are something that you like, I think you're going to probably fall into the loved it category. If you didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy, well, Superman might not actually be something you enjoy. Now, out of that same test screening note, we got word of a major cameo. Now, this also came via a scooper, Jeff Snyder, and it came on last night's Hot Mic podcast. Now, what he is saying is the upcoming DCU reboot will contain at least one massive cameo, but he didn't say much beyond that. Now, initially, when I started hearing about this, and he was speaking of cameos, I'm going to be truthful with you guys. The first character that came to my mind was Batman. We've heard next to nothing about Brave and the Bold, and if James Gunn was able to keep that under wraps all the way through Superman's production and then cameo Batman in the film, well, that would blow people's socks off. It would reveal the casting we've all wondered about and set up the Brave and the Bold on the schedule with a huge surprise. Now, this requires a lot of production coordination, so I don't know if that's actually the case, and it could obviously be other characters. We did hear a recent rumor, I'm not really sure who it initially came from, that Jor-El would be part of this film, and the character of Jor-El would be played by Tom Cruise. Now, I would find that one pretty shocking, but given that Marlon Brando played Jor-El in the Richard Donner films in the 70s, and then Russell Crowe played him in Man of Steel, well, there really is a certain pedigree with playing the role, and that may have been something that could have tempted Cruise into doing it, but he is pretty adamant about not being part of superhero projects. Now, outside of that, I'm really unsure who a massive cameo could be. I guess we have to consider the possibilities of other members of the Justice League like Wonder Woman or The Flash, but I don't think a massive cameo would fall in the category of characters James Gunn has already cast or projects that are currently in production. This means it's unlikely a Green Lantern or any one of the dozen or so other characters or projects that he currently is working on. I'm still leaning towards Batman. That would definitely fall into the category of massive, but as I think about it more, I think we should consider the possibilities that if they were going to use Batman as a cameo, well, that might not be part of the test screening because it would not likely be critical to the story and something they would want to keep under wraps because, as you can see, many of these test screening details ultimately leak. We're obviously keeping a close eye on Superman. I know all of you guys are super excited for this film. We're only about 2.5 months away from the film, meaning a second trailer is going to come via CinemaCon, and then we're going to start getting clips and more details, raising the hype level and getting fans very ready for this movie. So, what do you guys think? Who do you believe the major cameo that appeared in the test screening ultimately was? And how do you think this James Gunn movie is going to connect with audiences that typically don't like James Gunn projects? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Now, before you take off though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily videos and we want to be your place for all the Marvel and DC news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.